Studio check.
Frequencies check.
We are live on air.
You are listening to the In Fact Blessing the Airwaves. Take the journey into the world of sports, news, entertainment, while embracing the hottest beats on the planet. Rocking the mind, body, and with energy, electricity, and a splash of controversy. Now, without further ado, it's our pleasure to bring to you
The biggest show in the world.
The biggest show in the world.
the biggest show in the world, the SBTV Nation.
Dr. Dan, what's going on, fellas?
What's up, Dream? How you doing? Merry Christmas Eve to you. And Dan, happy Hanukkah to you, brother.
Oh, thank you, sir. First night of Hanukkah. Merry Christmas to you boys. Obviously, having a Catholic wife, I will be celebrating both, which just means my kids get more spoiled.
There you go.
Yay.
There you go. So how's it work, Dan? You get like presents every single night?
For my kids, yeah, that's kind of what we do. What we do is, my parents get stuff, and we get a couple small things to like one big thing and spread it out over 8 nights. But, my kids are the only, grandkids so far, the only people that have aunts and uncles and all that. So they just get the tree, I can't even see a 6-foot tree in my house. It's just presents. It's crazy.
Nuts.
Crazy. What are you boys eating? What are you boys eating? I've been waiting to hear about this.
Oh, man. Well, you know what? First things first is I've got a family member in town that's from Boston that has not done all-you-could-eat sushi. So we're doing that early today, the all-you-could-eat sushi. We're going to do that and probably going to be stuffed at like one. After you do that, and Dream knows this, after you do that, you're probably good for like 4 or 5 hours. You can't eat anything.
Oh, dude, it's like modern-day 7 fishes.
Dream knows. So then we're doing the stuffed lobster tails, the prime rib, and the whole package. A little surf and turf tonight on Christmas Eve.
I love it.
Yeah, how about you, Dream?
I got nothing really going on as far as that's concerned. I usually make homemade pizzas, which I got the dough upstairs. So I'll probably make homemade pizzas. Then tomorrow we go to my parents and their spread is bang, off the hook crazy. But today, kind of easy. I got, obviously there's tons of snacks upstairs. So I'm probably going to hang around most of the day, sit on the couch, watch football, play with the kids, have our fun. And then tomorrow is the big day for us. We celebrate Christmas Eve just out of, respecting it, but the big day for us is Christmas the day.
Oh, go for you, man. Well, you know what? I'm looking at the fantasy football contest for the SBTV Nation, and we were able to successfully fill 2 contests.
Oh, yeah.
So we got 10 people in one. We got 15 people in the other. This is the SBTV Nation winner take all. So what happened was everybody contributed $10 on the contest link that we posted, and it's a winner take all. So, hey, I wish I could say I wish you all the best of luck, but you're all going down today. And that includes you, Dan. You are a wrap today because I'm getting payback. This is a double revenge spot for me.
Even Ali lost once, kid.
And Dream, you will be last place.
Oh, here we go. I remember last.
He's going to win the whole damn thing.
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna be sitting here eating my 7 fishes, drinking my Moet Chandon, and I'm gonna be spitting champagne out as I watch Dream win.
Oh, definitely, man.
I'm gonna short myself. I'm gonna bet on the Dream.
All right. So as far as the 15 person contest, we've got myself, we got Irvin on there. I see Terry Bassard. I see Kenan, G Rose, DJ Lope 1. RSW 1916, whoever you are. Got Dream, you're there. Vegas Girl is there. Rob Lamberson is there. T. Meyer, Jay Acosta, Dr. Dizzle, the Evil Genius, Toady, and Rigetti. That makes the 15 as far as that contest is concerned. So I see 14 people going down. I see yours truly being on top of that one. And then us 3 did the same one as the 10 people, and JP is the defending champion right now, and he's in there along with T-Mac, Jonesy, and a couple of other people on this one. Fast Eddie. Guys, this is going to be fun.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be fun.
I can't wait.
It's going to be fun. So looking forward to it. Looking forward to a big slate of the NFL. Dream, you got anything to talk?
It's actually a tough fantasy card today, though.
I don't know about that. We'll have to have that conversation. Fast Eddie, that one in the gray, the female that you just sent me, is absolutely outstanding. Dream, did you see that?
I do see it, and that's why I've been quiet.
That's why you've been quiet. And then the second one with the beer, she's like this Russian, and she is outstanding as well. But the first one in the gray is got me just kind of googly-eyed today, to be honest with you. And looking at the rest of it here, guys. Dream, do you have anything to go over besides your absolutely incredible night last night?
Yeah, we did have a great night last night. You know, the hockey work. I'm telling you guys, I am kind of in the zone with these two teams. This New Jersey Devils team is absolutely awful, and that San Jose Shark team is off the hook. And this season so far, that's working out for me. We even got Pop Sat Mad guys over in a hardwood for the NBA, and we still got the Spurs to work still. So yesterday was stellar night. A lot of good things happened. I don't know why. I seem to do very well on Friday.
You do.
If I could move the NBA to Friday, I mean, move NFL Sundays to Friday, maybe my luck would change.
Very good point, Dream.
Maybe just switching it up to Saturday would be good enough.
Yeah, there you go.
Let's hope it is. We got a full slate today, guys. In case you guys don't know, the NFL kicks off at 1 o'clock today. I don't know where you're at. If you don't know that, then I don't know necessarily that you should be listening to the show. But
right on.
Well, we're happy to have you listen.
Of course.
And we are reminding you right now that the NFL is kicking off today. There's 12 games today. We got a 1 o'clock slate and a 4 o'clock slate. So today should be a very fun day as far as football is concerned.
I agree with you. And Dan, you have anything to add before we kick this thing off?
No, I just, I was on the La Tech game last night. We've had a killer bowl season so far, but, that didn't work out for us, -7. I did not expect Navy to score the points that they did. So, hey, give it up to Navy for fighting hard in that game. I thought they were going to get blown out. But I thought the refs had a little hand in that. There were some very questionable calls, as there has been in the NFL and college all season. So, we'll keep it rolling.
We will keep it rolling and move from there. All right, so let's get right into this. This is NFL Saturday today. And
before we hold on 1 second, I want to get into the NFL, but before we get into each thing, I do want to talk about this. I didn't get an opportunity to talk about this when it happened, and I did want to talk about it. And that's about the Patriots picking up Michael Floyd. Dude, that Floyd pickup for the Patriots, that is a problem.
I don't know, man. I mean, here's the thing. You know me, and I take a fairly similar stance to you guys. And he obviously could have killed somebody who's passed out behind a running car. But, I mean, there's precedence in the NFL for this. I mean, we have a guy that killed somebody while drinking and driving in Miami, and he played in the NFL. I think he only missed half a season. And he killed somebody, So it's like, win at all costs, right? I mean, this is the pro league. It's up to the NFL to step in and immediately suspend him. It's not up to the Patriots to make that decision. I don't think.
Yeah, what's your thoughts on that, Dream?
In regards to what I was talking about, though, I wasn't really talking about the discipline of his situation. I'm just talking about the fact that he's on the Patriots right now, and it's one extra weapon that I think this talent right here added to that Patriot roster, as far as them moving forward in the playoffs and possibly even the Super Bowl, is a serious problem for every other team in the NFL right now, because I think this guy fits in.
With that.
Say that again?
That's where you were going with that. My bad. I thought you were going
with
that.
No, that's right. But I just think he fits in absolutely beautifully with this team because, if you're a defense and you're preparing for this team, you're preparing for Amendola, you're preparing for Edelman, you're preparing for Bennett. God forbid we sprinkle back in Gronk in the playoffs. But, dude, once you add Floyd to it, it's like, all right, look, we can't do nothing but just we're going to play zone defense and watch Brady rip us to shreds.
Oh, dude. Michael Floyd, from a playing perspective, you're 100% right. It's a brilliant move. Oh. Because what he gives you, remember, this guy's only 27 years old. He's 6'3" and runs a sub 4.5 40. All right? Like, he's big, strong, and fast, and he's filling a need because I don't know even if Gronk could come back for the playoffs, but even if he doesn't, you just found a consummate weapon for Brady.
No, Joe,
oh my God.
Joe. I don't like. My thing is, I know that, and I said this before. Something behind the scenes was going on with Floyd's relationship with Arizona. That I definitely am aware of. But why they had to cut him at this point in the season, to me, is mind-boggling. And then the rest of the NFL stands by, and this is what kills. The NFL wants to understand, one, why ratings are down, one, why like the Cleveland Browns suck, and one, why the Patriots always are great. Every other team sat around and let the New England Patriots pick this guy up and didn't do anything about it.
100%. But, there is a reason for that, and there's a reason why Arizona cut him. Because, Arizona is already out of the playoffs, right? So there's no need for them to take the PR heat that they would take. It happened locally. So I get them cutting him. But then, again, any other AFC team that has a shot at the playoffs, the Texans, anybody else, should have put in a claim on him just to keep him away from the Patriots.
I agree.
I don't see any way that they don't at least win the AFC. I'm not seeing an AFC team that can beat them that will make the playoffs because the closest team was the Broncos, and they can't play offense.
And by the way, the Seattle Seahawks, who has, to me, two of the bootiest receivers that you could ever ask for on the team. How about implementing Floyd on their offense? Like, they couldn't use him?
You said the funniest thing because is it me? Everybody hypes Doug Baldwin. And I'm sitting here like, Doug Baldwin?
Yeah.
Doug Baldwin stinks.
That's what I'm right with you. I don't. The Seahawks, to me, I don't know what is with them and those receivers that they got, and the reason why they feel that their guys are dope, but never can seem to get the ball down the field. He would have been a great pickup for them. I scratched my head.
I thought the Giants should have tried to pick him up, and I know they have receivers. They have receivers, but you're not telling me that if you. Look, Cruz, we could get to this, but he obviously has lost a couple steps. Had a good game, and I love Victor Cruz, but if you plug Floyd into that offense, because when Eli gets a decently sized target, he's always been money. So look, I'm with you.
I got to back up out of conversation now.
I'm saying he needs those tall targets.
Only if we could get Floyd to put on the other team's uniform would I want him to go to the Giants.
Hey, I'm killing myself for that loss already. I hate. There's everybody wants to rip on me for hating on Dallas. I don't hate Dallas. I don't hate Washington. I hate Philadelphia.
You really do.
I hate Philadelphia. I hate everything about it. I hate all their sports teams. I don't care if you're from Philadelphia. Your city stinks. Okay? And to lose to you is like jabbing through the heart, and to watch Eli play like a little schoolgirl.
Yeah.
The problem is that, and this is where I'm going to get on Eli, and I've been an Eli supporter the whole time, so I don't want to hear that I'm a hater. And I'm not. He's not hanging in the pocket long enough. Okay? He used to, and look, the offensive line has been bad. But look, I obviously have some flaws with the officiating, but it should have never gotten there. But Michael Floyd, I feel like, because look, when Eli's had a guy like Plaxico, right, or someone who's tall and has good hands, he's money because he always throws the ball high.
True.
Got
it. and just one more thing about that game, which I killed it yesterday on that game because I can't believe that. And listen, you know what? You guys, home team dog on prime time, whatever, up against a team that's going to need one win to get into the playoffs. I'm going to take the playoff team one-win situation over the home team dog on prime time every time. And if I lose, I just lose.
How many times has that bit you, the must-win situation?
Then it's going to keep biting me. Okay? That's why I don't put my whole paycheck or my kids' college fund or anything else on gambling, because anything could happen. But certain scenarios, I like to have certain scenarios where I'm getting max effort, and that was a max effort scenario. So I lost. I still, Dan, the only thing that really stands out to me about that game, well, there's a few things, but the biggest thing is, how do you go offside on 4th and inches coming out of a timeout?
Oh, I'm 110% with you. And the problem is it was John Jerry. If that was Eric Flowers, you'd be like, oh, just cut him now. But John Cherry's actually been their best offensive lineman all year, which makes it so painful. I don't understand. You never see the Packers offensive line jumping off on Aaron Rodgers as a hard counts. I don't know what to say about that, but hey, I do have to say, and I hate bitching about officiating, but there were so many pass interferences in that game, and that 4th and 6, that's a classic pass interference that's called 99.99% of the time. So, I don't know. The game was so poorly officiated too, but it just never should have gotten there. It never should have gotten there.
All right. So, you guys ready to jump into the card today?
Let's do it.
See if we can make some money? All right, guys. So we are at NFL Saturday. Merry Christmas Eve and Merry Christmas holiday and Hanukkah and whatever else you're celebrating this weekend. Let's get it going and start out with the AFC East. Let's start out with the Miami Dolphins, who are 9-5 with Matt Moore at the helm, going into the 7-7 Buffalo Bills. Bills are minus 5 points with an under-over of 42.5. You know what, guys? I can tell you this much, that the Buffalo Bills, when playing at home, those overs come out all the time. And I got to be honest with you, I saw a lot of poise out of Matt Moore. I've been calling for him for years, and I liked what he did. Obviously, the Jets stink. That was a perfect warm-up game for him in New York. Now having to go to Buffalo here. I don't see any real bad weather to worry about here. It looks like it's 39 degrees and chances of rain. But that was the same thing in the Jets game. I think this game is going to be a little tighter than this. I kind of like the Dolphins plus the points. Dream, what's your thoughts here?
Yeah, no, I don't like the Dolphins because I never liked the Dolphins. Matt Mizzy is not the answer. I love you calling for him for years.
I have.
It's not really. It's the same thing as Tannehill. So I don't know what you call him for. You need to call for a whole new quarterback, period, and a backup. This Dolphin team, once again, probably the worst 9-5 team I've ever seen in the history of football right now. How they keep winning, I don't know. I do give some props to the run game. The defense has stepped up slightly, but I'm not that impressed with the defense either. This Bills team, right now playing for pride, playing for respect, and kind of playing for their head coach. We don't know if he's on the chopping block or not. There's a lot of talk and rhetoric. What I think is probably going to happen, I'm almost positive Rob Ryan is getting fired. I'm almost positive Rob Ryan's getting fired. As far as Rex, I just don't know if this team's firing Rex or not. And, this last game, these last 2 games might be, the breaking point for this to go down or not. We talked about Rex being able to motivate his guys. They've looked pretty good in their last couple of games. Shady's been running off the chain. Listen, I think Buffalo wins this game here. I like Buffalo to win. It's not a game that I'm wagering on, but I do think Buffalo wins this game.
I think that's a really tough matchup there. But, hey, Dream, we'll see what ends up going down. Dan, any thoughts here?
That 4.5, that ugly number, I'm not touching it. I think Buffalo wins again, but it's close. And I'm very concerned about what the GM said last night. Nobody knows what's going on.
Nobody knows what's going on.
So that's never good in football, right? Nobody knows who's got their job, who doesn't have their job. I don't buy into players being motivated to save their coach at this level. Players are motivated to keep their job and play, you would hope. And I think they're motivated, obviously, to keep the Miami Dolphins out of the playoffs. That being said, that 4.5 number is ugly.
All right. Well, you know what? I'm looking at the Buffalo Bills, okay? Only 3 games all year long have gone under with them. The rest of the games have all been over, and every single game at home has also gone over. You know what? When you look at the total here, the total is 42.5 points. It seems awfully low. I would expect a little bit of scoring here, guys. And I might consider teasing that over down to like a 35-point mark. And I think
my thing is, I know how Buffalo's going to score. I don't know how the Dolphins.
All right, you know what? When Matt Moore throws a couple of touchdowns today and the Dolphins win, Dream, you need to kind of fall back a little bit here because they have 9 wins.
Like I said, I know how Buffalo's going to score. I don't know how the Dolphins are.
All right.
I don't know about the Bill. I feel like the quarterback is so overrated.
The Bills?
Yeah, I'm not a Tyrod Taylor guy at all.
Me neither.
So, I don't know. I think this is just going to be a really nasty game, and if you got a wager on this, God help you.
Get the over down to 35. Just like my boy Jonesy is saying on here, he agrees with me 100% on that. So let's get involved in that one and go from there. Let's move over. Let's stay in the AFC East and talk about the New York Jets getting 17 points from the New England Patriots. New England Patriots got Tom Brady here as questionable, Dream.
Yeah, Brady's been. You know how the Patriots do.
I know.
I'm surprised they don't have the whole damn team is questionable or doubtful, whatever they do. Patriots love playing games with the injury report. I like the Patriots in this spot, obviously. I mean, what's there not to like? They're playing for home field advantage and trying to get home field advantage throughout, and I think it's very important for them to get it, and I think they understand how important it is. So you could look for, as Dr. Dan would say, Dan?
A total annihilation. But that is not how I feel about this game.
All right.
I don't know about that. You would think so. It's just, it's the other thing you have to remember is if you're considering taking 17 points here, right? There is a very good chance that maybe the Patriots are up 17 or 24 going into the fourth quarter. Next thing you know, you see the backups coming in. I mean, the Patriots, Belichick has shown that he doesn't really care about home field throughout in the past.
Well, he needs to.
In the past, but last year it punched him in the face.
It did.
So I think that he learned. I honestly think I would be very surprised if you see any backups in this game unless they're up by like 40.
You think? I don't know, man. If they walk into the fourth quarter up 3 touchdowns or more, I get that because at that point, I mean, the backups are still better than the Jets starters. I don't know. I think you can run the ball 3 times and punt and not have to really worry about it.
All right.
So,
all right.
I just always worry about Jets Patriots.
Oh, you have to, especially the way they play each other. I mean, it's always tight. But you got Bryce Petty at the helm here, and you got a Jets team that is basically given up on everything. But the thing is that when you look at the Jets, it almost seems like they get up for it, as bad as they always are. They get up for this game. And I believe I read last night that Todd Bowles was in the hospital.
He's rejoined the team now, but yeah, they were thinking he was having a heart attack, and it was like some viral infection. Supposedly he's fine and being monitored.
Okay.
But he did rejoin the team, so I don't know whatever that impetus brings. But hey, it's a tough job being the Jets coach, man. It might just kill you.
Exactly.
And if Bowles didn't have a heart attack, he probably was going to have one watching this particular game today. The thing about the Jets, I think they've given up. We've talked about them before giving up. I think they've given up. There's a couple of veterans on the defense that look like they're all done. There's a couple of guys on the offense that are out there going through the motions. Patriots are playing for home field advantage and they're at home. I know nobody wants to give up 17. The Patriots, if you look at their against the spread cover record for the season, it's impeccable.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
And I'm not trying to tell anybody to lay to 17 because trust me, you know how I feel about points. I hate points, but if there's ever a team that you want to lay points with, it is the New England Patriots because that's what they do.
Oh, you know me, man. I love betting the New England Patriots. They made me a ton of money this year. A ton.
All right.
It's just Jets Patriots. But here's the thing: if you want to get that into like a 3-team 10-pointer and get it down to 7,
yep.
Feel good there.
And you got to do a ties don't lose teaser. Ties push.
Yes, exactly.
All right, let's talk about the nasty one of the day. Tennessee Titans at the 2-12 Jacksonville Jaguars. Tennessee on the road -5 with an under over of 43.5. Dan, do you think at any chance that the Jacksonville Jags can win a game in their last 2?
Let's see. They have Tennessee today and the
No, they're done.
They're done.
All right. So
they're done.
So Tennessee wins the game today. Is that what you're calling?
I mean, look, I don't think, people are saying nasty game, but I mean, Tennessee is 8-6.
They are.
I mean, that's a pretty decent team. I think, Tennessee has a chance to win out. They're at the Jaguars and then home against the Texans. The Jaguars are just so bad.
Right on.
mean, they've lost 9 games in a row.
9 games in a row right now.
And they, and if you want, what happened last week, it was almost a little heartbreaking. They had a chance to finally win a road game, and they lose by 1 to the Texans. So I think the Titans beat them today, but I don't like the 5 points, actually.
Dream.
Yes.
You've been a little bit of an advocate on Tennessee. Talk to me.
I have been an advocate on Tennessee, but this is one of those just bizarre, strange, scary type of games. Only because Jacksonville wants to win in the worst way.
Yeah, of course.
Tennessee, the thing about Jacksonville, even though they've lost all their games, they've been semi-competitive. I mean, in most of the games that they played, they haven't really got blown out. I'm looking at their record here. They've been semi-competitive in almost every game that they've played. I mean, like right there, like you would think that they got blown out. I guess the Raiders murdered them. Okay, I'll give you the Raiders 33-16. That's a drubbing. But outside of that, they've been a pain in the neck, and they're the type of team that will hang around probably with this Titan team. And this game probably will never be clear. Like, you'll never have that big lead or clear where you could turn it off. If you take this game and you take the Titans, get yourself a bottle of Maalox right next to you, because you are going to need it for the whole game, as the Titans will probably win a very ugly game, but this is scary. I don't know why. You're going to get max effort out of both teams. The Jags want to win this game. They want to win a game. They want to win their last 2 games, and they're going to play hard.
You think so?
So they're not going to lay down. And the Titans, while the Titans are improved, the Titans love making mistakes in football games. I don't know what it is with them. They give you that fumble out of nowhere, that interception for a touchdown. They're a little bit like the Giants, but not as prolifically, I should say. They don't make the same mistakes as much as the Giants, and I don't think they can overcome to make the mistakes the Giants do. But they are small. They look like the Giants in a small way.
They're mistake-prone, Dream.
Yes.
Very mistake-prone. And you know what? One thing I do notice about the Tennessee Titans is they're not the best team in the world on the road. 6-16 on the road, guys. And you know what? When you look at it here, I could possibly see a little low-scoring stomachache affair here. I don't know why. I mean, maybe part of it has to do with Jacksonville and that awful offense only averaging 18.6 points a game. But
yeah, but if you want to look at who the Titans have beaten the last couple of weeks, right? I mean, you want to talk about the offensive stats. That's why, I don't really look at stats in football. You got to look at who you played lately, and you're talking about a team, that's coming off wins at home against the Broncos and then at Kansas City. I don't think there's a letdown here. They have a lot to play for, and I think that defense actually smothers Jacksonville. The more I look at it, if you buy 1.5 and get it down to 3, I think they cover that.
Okay. All right. Well, hey.
And one more thing to talk about the Tennessee Titans. The Tennessee Titans are probably the healthiest team in the NFL right now.
Yeah, very good point.
Kiss of death.
Say that again.
I said kiss of death.
Yeah.
Someone's going to Mariota's tearing his ACL today.
Yeah, right.
Could be.
Corner.
But they are one of the healthiest teams. It means their full squad is there. So keep that in mind moving forward. Everybody knows what's going on. Everybody's played with each other for most of the season, and they are in a groove, and they're pretty good. I like the Titans to win. I just think it's going to be an ugly game. If you got that 10-point because you want to get the Patriots down to 7, then you throw it. You could throw them in, and I think you'll be successful, because even if they lose, I don't think that they'll lose by more than a field goal.
All right. Sounds good, Dream.
I still think Jacksonville's looking who they can draft to be their next quarterback bust.
Yeah. Blake Bortles at the helm right now. Let's move over to the Vikings versus the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay -7, under over 43 points. This Vikings team started out 5-0 or 2-7 now in their last 9 games, and having to go into the frozen tundra. And it's actually 36 degrees there. It's pretty warm everywhere all over the country. I don't see any real low temperatures.
And just to update everybody, Minnesota, their plane actually skidded off the runway.
Okay.
And everybody's safe, but it created a massive problem for the whole airport, and then they were like stuck on the plane for a few hours. I'm just saying, I don't care if you're a pro athlete, that has to rattle you.
Sure.
So, that's why this is going to be an annihilation.
Dream, talk to me about the total annihilation with the Green Bay Packers today.
I'm with Dan. I don't know about an annihilation. I'm unlike Dan. I don't think every one of the games I play is going to be an annihilation because I always watch them and they always seem to be a stomachache. But I've been talking about the Minnesota Vikings all season. I do not like Sam Bradford. The only time I've seen the Minnesota Vikings look even remotely good was against the incredible Dallas Cowboys, who the Giants beat twice. But anyway, the Vikings are not a good team. Defensively, I don't know what even happened last week because I thought defensively they were, decent defensively. Then the Colts murdered them.
Yeah, right.
Murdered the defense with Andrew Luck. And I would say if there's any quarterback as good or if not better than Andrew Luck, it is Aaron Rodgers.
Sure.
Two teams know each other. Green Bay knows what they're playing for. I expect Green Bay to play, but these two teams obviously know each other, played a lot of games against each other over the years. Coaching staffs know each other, players know each other. So I'm not going to go with the annihilation like Dr. Dan says, but I do like Green Bay to win. If you can get this in a money line spot or if you're in that 10-point teams that Dan talked about to get the Patriots down, definitely add the Green Bay Packers to it. I think the Green Bay Packers definitely win this game.
All right, yeah, and you know what? They got a little bit of revenge on their mind here because they did lose in Minnesota, and Minnesota also beat them last year in the Tundra on Week 17 and clinched the division. So I'm sure Green Bay's got that on their mind, and I'm sure they're going to basically...
They don't even need that on their mind. I don't even think they need it. I think that the defense is embarrassed about what they let happen to them with Chicago last week. They were very lucky to get out of there the way they did. The offense, though, has been clicking. I mean, they put up 68 points in the last 2 weeks. Aaron Rodgers has looked as good, if not better, than he has all year. I almost think the leg injuries helped him because you can see him in the pocket. Like he is just like on fire with accuracy. This Minnesota offense is brutally bad. And their defense obviously got exposed, so I expect the same thing to kind of happen here.
All right, sounds good. I like Green Bay too, guys, so I think I'm going to get involved in that. I can't see them.
And don't forget about the emergence of Christian Michael in the running game now. I think Christian Michael's starting to fit in.
Baby.
Say that again?
Ty Montgomery, 167 yards or whatever last week.
Yeah, he's
him
been good.
Too. That run game is starting to emerge, and if Green Bay gets a run game going, it could be an ugly situation in that Tundra. But these two teams know each other. I like Green Bay to win.
All right, sounds good. Let's just real quick, any quick notes here with what probably the most awful game of the day, being the 5-9 Chargers with Phillip Rivers going into the 0-14 Browns. Cleveland gets their first win, maybe? What do you think,
Dan? This is a dope game right here. I can't wait to get a hold of this. I'm putting this on the big screen, getting my popcorn ready, going to get the butter out. This game's incredible. Can't wait to see it kick off. And yes, the Browns can possibly get their first win, but I doubt if they'll get it.
Dan?
This is actually one of those, if you want to cap off that 3-team 10-point teaser, and I know that's hard to do with the Browns, getting them up to plus 14 might not be bad, but God, this is a brutal game.
It is a brutal game, exactly. And, San Diego is only favored by 4 points. So they're calling this to be a kind of an ugly, close game.
I don't know that San Diego, though, should be given 4 points. It should be a pick'em.
Right on, Dream. It should be a pick'em.
What the hell is that?
Exactly. I don't know, man. Maybe the Browns get
the Chargers are coming east, too.
Yeah, sure, exactly.
1 o'clock time slot on top of it.
Yep.
And there's the only thing is there is nothing to do in Cleveland unless any of the Chargers are friends with LeBron. There is nothing to do in Cleveland.
Yeah, very good point. Exactly. Let's move over to the Redskins, who are 7-6-1, going into the 3-11 Bears. But the 3 wins by the Bears have all been home. And now they're at Soldier Field.
By the way, back to the Cleveland game, the Browns are really healthy, too.
All right. Talk to me about the Chicago Bears, who have won all their games at home in Soldier Field and are an underdog in this matchup versus the Washington Redskins. Kissing Cousins at the helm, obviously, has a lot of yards this year, 43-60 with 23 TDs. Washington -3, under/over 47.5. And for some reason, I think this is a bad spot for the Washington Redskins and their playoff hopes. Dream, what's your thoughts here?
You know what? I'm done with the Redskins.
Yeah.
You know, last week, what the Redskins did, it just was unacceptable for me. You know, and I'm done with them. You know, losing to Carolina for me, they did a lot of stupid stuff, and I'm done with them. I'm not getting involved with this game. I don't think that the Bears are going to beat them. I don't. I just don't think that the Bears have enough offense to beat the Redskins, even though the Redskins' defense does stink. But I just think that the Redskins will find a way to win this game. I am not touching this game by any stretch of the imagination because the Redskins do stupid stuff. And, you know, Cousins, I know, deserves to get paid his money, but I know why the Redskins – that last week's loss proves to you why the Redskins are reluctant to pay Cousins and reluctant – probably – they can't figure out this team neither. Their leadership, their owners can't figure out what this team is, and I can't either.
The Jets are going to pay Cousins, and then he's going to go 5-11.
Yeah, right.
That's what's going to happen. But no, I know everybody's giving Barkley a lot of credit, but I mean, he did throw 3 picks. I mean, I know he threw for a lot of yards. I do think this is a bad spot for Washington, but you can't bet this game. This is a coin flip.
Any shot at taking the Bears defense on fantasy? You probably get it for like nothing.
God, no.
Let's move over to.
Go ahead, you take it.
Yeah, let's. If you need a little bit of cap space in your fantasy lineup, might be something to take a look at. Atlanta Falcons versus the Carolina Panthers. Carolina is 6-8, 4-3 at home versus the 9-5 Falcons. Atlanta -3 with an under/over 51. And I got to be honest with you, Dream. I can't see Atlanta being favored in this matchup. This should be a pick'em. I kind of like the Panthers at home. What's your thoughts?
Why?
Because for some reason, I think this team's playing better football. And I think that this team is kind of finding themselves a little bit. And I think this team has a little revenge on their mind. And they're home. And I think
revenge of what?
Revenge of the Falcons been beating the snot out of them lately. Going back to last year, spoiling the perfect season. And the last matchup where they lost as well. And Atlanta pounded them in the last matchup. I think Carolina wins the game. Live dog.
I know Atlanta pounded them in their last matchup, and there's a reason for that. And the Carolina Panthers, you know, I know you think that they're playing a little better, but
They are.
I don't really think so. I just think they just played, you know, a Washington team that made some mistakes, and then they played San Diego, and they lost to Seattle. So, and they lost to Oakland. You know, San Diego's not good. And Washington, don't ask me what they did. They gave that game away as far as I'm concerned. You know how I feel about this Carolina team? I know that they are somewhat good at home. However, Atlanta's the real deal. They've got it all going on. Matty Ice is absolutely incredible throwing the ball this year. He's done a great job of managing his team. Freeman's been great running the ball. They're getting Julio Jones back, supposedly going to play today, which I think the other 2 guys have stepped up anyway, so that's not a huge factor because they've been getting it done without him. But I think this makes them even more dangerous. The Carolina Panther defense, losing Kuechly, and I don't know if he's going to play today, but I don't think he is. It's a big loss for them. And their defense is nowhere near as good to me as it was, you know, a few games ago, even though they were losing, but it still was a better defense. I think the Atlanta Falcons are going to have a lot of success against this defense, and I see Atlanta winning, and I see Atlanta covering the spread.
Wow. I don't know if I see that, but yeah, where you at?
I don't see it either.
All right.
I mean, you know, Atlanta does have the weapons, obviously. I get why the spread is where it is. You know, part of me thinks that Atlanta does expose this Carolina secondary that hasn't been so good. But then again, Carolina has been playing a lot better. I think this is a dangerous game. I don't know if Carolina gets up for it. It's like you have a team that should be thinking about Super Bowls that's thinking about where they're playing golf. I don't know if knocking off the Falcons is a big deal to them. So I don't know. This is a weird game to me. I can't touch it.
All right, and one thing I do want to say is that Julio Jones will be back in the lineup today.
I just said that.
You know what I'm saying? So, yes, but I want to reiterate that, Dream, as far as fantasy football is concerned. Because you know
Please
that Carolina,
start Julio.
because that Carolina secondary is not all that. And all three of us, I think, could agree on that. So let's move over to the next game, which should be, I would expect some fireworks here. Indianapolis Colts at the 11-3 Raiders. And you know that the New England Patriots, after their game, are going to be glued to this one. Because if the Raiders lose, I believe that would solidify them as far as home field advantage throughout the playoffs in the AFC if they win and beat the New York Jets today. Oakland's minus 3.5, under over 53 points. Dream, you getting involved in this?
Oak Tree, baby. Of Oak Tree. You know
love
how
them.
I feel about this is my team. I love Oakland Raiders. But, guys, I'm going to tell you something about the Raiders. The Raiders are going to break your heart in the playoffs, okay?
Yeah, they are.
They are dope during the regular season, and I love the way they play. They're kind of fun, and it's a great atmosphere, and I like to see the Raiders doing their thing. They're going to get drubbed in the playoffs by some dumb team. I don't know who it's going to be, but you're going to believe in the Raiders. You're going to take them in the playoffs, and none of the stuff that you've seen happen this regular season is going to happen.
You know who's going to beat
because
them?
they've been able to catch some guys late. One thing to look at the Raiders, they start off every game slow as hell. It's like they don't play the whole first half.
Right on.
And I don't know if you want to
I'm more
take the Colts in
concerned.
the first half, but the Raiders do not start. I don't know what is wrong with them. It's like they don't wake up till the second half of these games, and then they pull these games out of their behind. That style is going to bite them in the behind. I don't like the way they struggled last week with San Diego, but the one bright spot was the defense did not let the game get out of hand, which has been the defense has kind of let a lot of teams get the best of the Raiders for most of this season. So it was nice to see the defense step up last week. They need to be very careful and not let this game get out of hand early, because if they do and they got to play big time catch up against the Colts, they may find themselves on a loss. But I don't think that the Colts are going to have enough to hold them down, and I think the Raiders win this game.
Dan, thoughts?
I'm very concerned about the quarterback injury. I think, the finger of the throwing hand, and that's when you've seen a slide in this Raiders team. He's not as accurate. There's less zip on the ball. Again, finger injuries on the throwing hand of the quarterback, and I love that he's toughing it out, but I still think it's a major problem. I've loved the Raiders all year, too. Until I see that he's a bit more recovered from that injury, I got to stay off him.
All right.
To me, the Raider game that to me bothered me the most was against Houston. Even though they won that game, they struggled so bad with Houston in that game. And I don't know if it was because they were in Mexico and had been at all the brothels and stuff before the game, because that's probably what you do in Mexico. But they just struggled so bad in that game, and that game is the one that points out to me. And that San Diego and the Raiders have played each other a lot, so I'll give it a little bit of grain of salt with last week's garbage game. And if I had gotten any gameplay out of David Carr, who I started last week as my fantasy quarterback and still ended up in 5th place, by the way, playing with the experts of this program. And was ahead of both of you. If I got any points out of David Carr, I would have probably been in 2nd place.
What's that?
I said beginner luck.
Yeah, beginner's luck, exactly.
Any points out of David Carr, I would have been in 2nd place.
2nd place still doesn't win you any money, Dream. No matter any way you slice it here. So, looking at this game here, I just don't know what to make of the Colts, to be honest with you. The Colts have been so Jekyll and Hyde, up and down. I mean, they come out and murder teams and then lose to the Texans. I just can't gauge it. And
Texans defense is dope.
Yeah,
I don't get why everybody's hating on the Texans. I mean, their offense kind of sucks, but their defense is number one, is it not?
Their defense. Let me take a look here and see. Right now, I could tell you in a minute if you go to this. But I could tell you this much. My point was, Dream, my point was that I do agree with you that the Raiders are going to go down in the playoffs, and you know who they're going to lose to? They're going to host Kansas City and lose.
K-Sizzle.
Right? Can't you see that happening?
Got a lot of confidence.
I want them to go back to Foxborough in a snow game. And they will get pounded. There won't be any last minute like, oh, this is a Brit. No, this will be like a murder scene.
All right, and you know what, Dan? You are right. The Houston Texans are number 1 yards per game in the NFL.
Wow.
Yeah,
I'm
306.
just saying, the Texans have such a sneaky good defense, and I know we're going to get to this game, and I love me some Savage Nation, baby.
Savage Nation. All right, let's talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the New Orleans Saints. The Saints are an underdog at home. I'm sorry, no, they're favored. My bad. I looked at something else here.
You got all excited.
I got all excited for a minute. I was ready to jump all over the Saints, but they are minus 3.5 with Drew Brees at the helm. They're 6-8 versus the 8-6 Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who just came off the loss on primetime to the Dallas Cowboys. Dan, Saints Bucks. I think you've been pretty high on the Bucks. What do you got?
Love me some Tampa Bay.
Love you some Tampa Bay. All right, why?
Because they know how to play this this offense. I mean, they held them to, I don't care where this game was played, they held them to 11 points. This Tampa Bay defense is another super underrated defense. Look, lost to the Cowboys last week. I mean, hey, the Cowboys, the only team they've lost to is the Giants, right? I think that Tampa Bay wins this game outright in the Thunderdome.
All right, Dream. What's your
Yes.
thoughts here?
I don't know.
Kind of like the Saints, but go for it.
I'm staying away. I can't take Tampa Bay against the Saints when the Saints are home. And Tampa Bay, I just don't trust Tampa. I've seen them. I know that they've been successful this season. It's something about them I just don't trust. I don't know what it is. Maybe because, I don't think Winston's quite there yet. Maybe next year. They get you in these really ugly type games, and then they manage to prevail. And I just don't trust this Tampa Bay team. So I can't take them. But I don't. New Orleans, I can't take no Saints.
I hear you. I just also look at who the Saints have actually beaten. And they've beaten a pitiful Panthers team, a Seahawks team that I'm not impressed with, when they play on the road especially. They beat the 49ers. They've lost to, the Panthers, the Broncos, the Lions and the Bucks recently. And I mean, they did give up 41 points to the Cardinals last week. I just think that, again, you want to talk about fantasy, and I'm not going to say which one, but I think the Buccaneers receivers have a big day today.
Yeah. Mr. Mike Evans at the helm.
Possibly.
And Dream, Cameron Brate last week had almost 17 points in fantasy.
Know.
Remember you said he'd have 4?
Yep.
So I did pretty good with
me
that.
some Brate.
All right. So,
I was joking.
Cardinals, Seahawks. Seahawks minus 8. Under over 43. Cardinals are without Mr. Floyd at the helm as far as their wide receiving core. Seahawks 7-0 at home. Dream, I have a feeling that you might be on Seattle today.
I'm not.
You're not?
I'm not on Seattle today, but I like them.
Okay.
I can never – okay, guys, now this is a 6-6 tie game.
Yeah, right.
Okay, previously. So, I mean, and that's why I don't love Seattle because this Seattle team, I mean – the offensive line did not get better. It's the same offensive line, okay? They didn't get better. They may possibly have gotten worse. They still haven't gotten the right running game to work yet, and they're trying to get it going with Rawls, but I don't see it. Russell Wilson's scrambling for his life back there. We already talked about hating their wide receivers, which I do, and their defense is overrated, and you don't have Earl Thomas there. Then again, you go to the flip side of the Cardinals, and I don't like what the Cardinals bring to the table either because they lost Floyd. Fitzgerald, kind of old. I don't like Carson Palmer's gameplay anymore, but David Johnson is still a beast. Seattle, though, will probably be able to contain him. Once again, I think the play in this particular game is going to be the under.
All right, Dan, where you at there?
The under sounds decent. I don't like these AFC West or NFC West matchups. They always it doesn't really matter. It's kind of like the East, right? Any team can kind of play any team close. Seattle should kill them, but like Dream said, this offensive line is still terrible, and they've lost their quarterback of the defense for the year, and he might be retiring. So I just can't touch it.
All right. So let's move over to the next game here. This is a brutal game, and I can't believe the Rams are favored for once here. The Rams are 4-10, 1-5 at home, 1-5 at home in LA, Dream. They moved to LA and can't win there. They're minus 5 points versus the 1-13 San Francisco 49ers, who are 0-7 on the road.
And 2 more seasons of 1-5 will get them looking to relocate maybe back to St. Louis because no one will be there.
Yeah, right. Good point.
But at least they got rid of Fishbone, so they are one step in the right direction. In come the Niners. Guys, how much money have we made betting against the Niners this season?
Stupid money. Stupid money.
When you lose at 1 o'clock, you bet against the Niners at 4.
Yeah, right.
That's what the doctor says when you go at 1 o'clock to the doctors and you're saying, Doc, I got a serious bad loss at 1 o'clock. He says, look, go bet against whoever the Niners are playing at 4 and you'll recoup your money back. Except this week you got 2 awful versus awful, and the Niners are more awful than the Rams are. But God help you if you got to take this game. If you got to bet on this game, this is a bad situation for you. Good luck. I think that the Rams will find a way to win. I don't know how, and I wouldn't bet it, but I think the Rams will find a way to win because the Niners stink. But I can't bet this game. It's just a terrible game. I don't know why they're even playing it.
All right. Where you at, Dan?
Ugh. Yeah, they should cancel this. They should just pay the teams not to play. It would benefit America. I don't see. Look, this is one of those games that if you feel the need to bet it, go get your Gamblers Anonymous card. Right, make that New Year's resolution that you're going to stop because you don't even want to watch. I mean, you don't even want to see the replays from this game. I can't even say highlights because there aren't going to be any.
Right.
The $100 question. $100 question for you in this game, Dan. The Niners have one of the worst rushing defenses in the NFL.
Yep.
Do you take a shot and waste and put in the guy who I wasted my first round draft pick on, who absolutely killed me in my season fantasy football team? Do you take the shot and put Todd Gurley in your fantasy daily lineup today?
It's funny you say that because I was just going to say, I think Gurley has a good day. But, God, that Rams offensive line, they just don't play as a cohesive unit. He's looked terrible. So I had him in my lineup, and he's been removed because I'm not getting burnt by Todd Gurley.
Got it.
I'm just not going to do it.
All right. So let's move on to the next game here. And, one thing I do want to mention, too, is, we talked about a really bad poor rushing defense as far as the San Francisco 49ers. I think they give up like 170 a game or something like that. But Miami Dolphin rushing defense is not all that either, guys. So that's something to keep a look at as well. Let's go into.
Surprising, by the way.
What's that?
That's surprising.
It is surprising. You're right, especially with the 2 defensive ends they got. But let's have a conversation about the last game, and this is Sunday Night Football. You got the 5-8-1 Cincinnati Bengals, who I believe should fire their coach this year, versus the Houston Texans, who are 8-6 with Savage at the helm. Houston -2, just 2 points with an under over 41. Dan, I know you're high on the Texans.
Yeah, man. I got the Texans when they were still -1, so, whatever. I still like them at -2. This Cincinnati Bengals team, no A.J. Green. They're banged up all throughout. Again, I really, really like this Texans defense, and especially at home. I think, Savage also has been in this Bill O'Brien system for a long time. We all have been hating on Osweiler since week 2. I never thought he was good to begin with. I think it was hilarious that they paid him $70 million. I think Savage, and the other thing with Savage is he's smart enough to now throw the ball to DeAndre Hopkins. I don't care if you target him 16 times. He's great. Hit your receivers. I think Houston wins this game pretty big, touchdown or more.
All right, Dream?
I like Houston. I like Savage. I think, like we said, we haven't liked Osweiler since the beginning of the season. However, we have seen a lot. Backup quarterbacks come in mid-game, look like the answer. Then when they get the full start, look like the problem. You know why he's the backup. So just got to be careful in that spot. We can't go too crazy because we got to see a little bit more out of him. But he looked very poised last week. Coming in when he came in. able to lead this team to a win. The Texans are very good at home. They're 6-1 at home, so they've only lost one game at home. You're talking about a 2-5 away record on this Bengal team that, in my opinion, they got to gut this team, and they got to start with Marv. I hate that Lewis has to go, but it's in my opinion that he has to go this season. And I know that they've had injuries and all kinds of other stuff, but it's just time to make some changes in Cincinnati.
It is.
The one thing about Cincinnati, I do expect them to hang around and be competitive because that's what they do. Your defense is decent. Not great, but decent, and it will keep them in this game, I believe. And the Texans don't really blow anybody out, so I think Cincinnati will hang out, but I'd like the Texans to win, and I think they cover the spread.
All right.
Yeah, so I just want to add real quick, some crazy stuff that came out just like 3 hours ago is that this move would have been made sooner, but Savage had an elbow injury earlier in the season. So they were basically waiting on that. And then basically there was a players meeting where they went to Bill O'Brien. They said, look, when there were rumors of Osweiler being the starter for this game, they said basically, not happening.
Wow.
So it's more for the team. I'm not saying Savage is going to go out there and light anybody up, but I think, especially when you have the number one defense and they're saying, look, Osweiler stinks. We all see it. You got to give this guy a shot. You're going to give him a shot anyway. I mean, he played really well, too. He did play well in that game. You can't be worse than Osweiler, right?
Right.
Dr. Dia, dazzle me with your fantasy prowess and start Savage as your quarterback in the daily.
Come on, baby. Do it. Let's go.
It'll open up for the rest of the roster to be off the chain.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So
I make a side bet. If I start Tom Savage and I finish in the top 5, I don't know. I gotta see. Maybe I will start Tom Savage.
Well, you know what? Considering I got 11 points out of David Carr, so I keep calling him Derek Carr last week, and I finished in the top 5. That would be like starting Savage.
Yeah, it'd be a little crazy, but you know what? What the hell? Why not? Maybe Houston will get like 5 or 6 turnovers, and they'll give them the ball like on the 50 or better each time.
Yeah, right.
But there also is. I mean, the Bengals on top of everything else are super banged up. I mean, if you look at no Vontae's perfect again. They have offensive line people out. No Eifert. And Eifert really, obviously, with the absence of A.J. Green, was their only other weapon, and they're both out today. Jeremy Hill, I don't think, is playing. So all their big playmakers are sitting.
Got it. All right. So that does it for the entire card of the NFL, and what we're going to do is we're going to recap what all of us are on. So I'm going to switch this up here, and I'm just going to lead it right off and tell you where I'm at. As far as a 7-point teaser, guys, what I'm doing is as follows. I'm taking the Bills-Dolphins down 7 points, getting that to 35.5 over. I'm going to take the Green Bay Packers, get that to a pick 'em. I think they win the game. And I'm going to add 7 points to the Carolina Panthers. I'm going to get them plus 10 in their house playing the Atlanta Falcons. That's my 3-team 7-point teaser, and that should pay plus money. Dream.
Yes.
Where you at?
Okay, couple of plays and a couple ideas, and I haven't dropped nothing yet, guys. These are my thoughts, though, because I'm not sure where I'm going to go. But first of all, 3-team, 10-point total tees. Over Oakland Colts. I can get that down to 43. Under Cards Seattle. You're going to get that up to 53. And under, hold on, where is it? I'm sorry. What was my last under?
I don't know. You tell me.
I had another under, and I can't find it.
Was it the Houston
I'm sorry.
game?
Well, okay, we're gonna go under San Fran Rams and get that up to 49.
Okay. Dan, where you at today? How many plays you got?
I have 3.
You have 3.
I didn't finish.
Oh, okay, go for it. That's because you don't know your plays, so I had to keep it moving.
Well, I don't, but that was my thoughts. I don't, but I'm pretty positive that I'm going to go straight up. I'm just going to take the Packers. I'm going to buy it down to 6.5. and I'm also going to probably put it in a money line parlay, and I'm going to go Packers. I'm going to go Packers, Patriots, and Raiders.
All right. Sounds good. Dan, where you at?
So I'm going to go with the Buccaneers +3, the Texans -1, the Packers -7. And just for fun, I am also going to money line, or not money line. I'm going to just parlay the Bucs and the Texans. So $250 to pay $730. It's a little nice. Just let's have fun on Christmas Eve.
Nice. All right. So let's get out of here, guys. We ran a little over, but obviously it's the NFL, and we are getting ready for Christmas. Christmas Eve is among us here, and Christmas Day. Guys, be safe out there. And Dream, what you got here?
Hey, I want to thank everybody that's retweeted the show, like we always do. We got a lot of guys on today, everybody, and we want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays. Most of you guys have been in contact with me, and I really appreciate it. Some of you guys I have not gotten back to. I'm going to look at it a little bit today and put the women and children to bed. Shane, you're crazy. But I haven't got back to some of you guys. That doesn't mean that I haven't gotten your messages. Just been a little bit busy. I thank you for all your thoughts and definitely wish you a Merry Christmas. One more thing, there is a bowl game tonight. It is Hawaii versus Middle Tennessee. Oh. I don't know if you guys are interested or getting involved in that. Middle Tennessee is giving 7 points.
But the game is in Hawaii, so be careful.
Yeah, it is in Hawaii. Definitely be careful, but I do like Middle Tennessee to win this game. Just probably got to get rid of the 7 points. Want to thank Shane Whitehead. Want to thank Jonesy. Want to thank Random Unpredictably, Rick Lopez, Shy Picks, Frank Vincalato, and I'm trying to pull up the rest of the guys on my screen right now. Hold on 1 second, so I can get this. Sorry, gang. There we go. Got OJFB in the house, Kruk, Mo Diggs, Marlon, Jay Snyder, Terrence Matt, Chad E, welcome to the party. Noel Grendos, welcome to the party. Wooch GG, Andy Jones, Bass Eddie 72, my boy Irvin, JP, Rick Lopez, Shane Whitehead, JDH 24, Cash Action Bets, my girl Vegas Girl 92661, Shy Picks, Joseph Del Rosario, It Be Easy, and so many more. Average Joe Punter and Sunny Australia's out there. Also Cash Action Bets doing his thing. Gang, we love you to death. Have a happy holidays. If you did not get Christmas presents, okay, you are a clown because you've been betting and you haven't been getting Christmas presents. That's dusty. But there is still time to go out, get your butt over to Walmart or whatever and grab some stuff for your team. Don't be coming in talking about you've been too busy to handle your business for Christmas. Have a great Christmas, gang. I'm the Dream. Always remember who you're with. Make the most of each and every day because you cannot get this time back.
Right on. Dan, where you at?
Yeah, I just say the same thing. Do your family right, guys. It's that time of the year, okay? We all love playing. We all love wagering. Let the kids sit on your lap. Watch some football with them, Do some stuff like that. And, of course, make sure you have presents for them. If you are buying into your sports book and you don't have presents, shame on you.
Yes.
I'll reload it and you ain't got no presents under your tree.
Exactly. You're going to do your kids like that? So let's just be realistic, guys. Have a safe and happy holiday season. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and whatever the hell else you celebrate. Best to everybody, and we'll see you soon.
All right, sounds good, guys. We love you to death. Go out there and go easy. Make sure you're safe this weekend because there's a lot of people that are on the road making bad decisions as far as drinking and driving. So just, even if you're safe, keep your eyes open. And take care of your families. Get that money today as well. Take care.
Peace.